If you are thinking of buying or selling in the new year, you're going to want to watch this month's housing market update.
All right, so we're here for our first video for the year of 2024. We're going to jump into our January housing market update. We're going to cover a lot of information for you guys today. How many homes are on the market, median sales price, how fast homes are selling in today's market. So if you're in the market to buy or sell, continue to watch. We're going to be covering a lot. But let's get into our very first slide here, and it talks about the number of homes that came on the market, what's been sold, and how many are pending. So if you go to the far right of the screen here, last month in December, which is traditionally a slower month, I think, for housing, there were 292 new homes that came on the market. 133 homes had sold. And then the red line going across the screen there represents the pending sales. Those were 138 pending sales. But Julie, how does those numbers contrast to a year ago?
Yes, last year there were 384 homes for sale, 384 listings compared to the 292. So that was a reduction of 24%, pretty significant. And then there were 178 homes that sold in the month of December a year ago.
Yeah, so last year in December, if we go back in time, there was a lot happening back then. There's a lot of uncertainty about mortgage rates were climbing. They went from 5 to 5.5 to 6. They were in the 7s about a year ago. I think what happened there, if you look at the chart, and the number of listings just continued to decline because rates were so high. There was that lock-in effect. A lot of people didn't want to sell their home to potentially move and have a higher rate. So we had incredibly low inventory for the course of 2023. But there is good news on the horizon. If you're thinking about purchasing a home, not only rates have come down, but we're starting to see, we should see a lot more homes come available on the market in 2024. Let's get into our next slide, and that is what everybody I think wants to know is how did home prices do in 2023?
So looking at the median home prices in the city of Stockton, we're going to look at a one-year snapshot. On the screen here, you can see in December of 2022, it was $392,000, and we ended the year December 2023 at $446,000. So that was a change of 13.8% from last year to this year.
Yeah, and if you look at the chart, there's 2 months in a row, December and January of last year. There's kind of an anomaly. I think there's 2 pretty low months. I don't think that was quite the norm. They're probably, as you can see, the months prior to that and the months after that were higher. So on a quarter-to-quarter basis, you know, the quarter ending 2022 versus the quarter ending 2023 was a 7% increase in the median home price here in Stockton. So I think that's probably a more realistic number versus the 13%, comparing one month versus the other month. So quarter over quarter, it was 7% increase. You know, we get a lot of questions like, how did home prices go up 7% with rates being at 8%, 7.5%, 8%? And I just think it all boils down to the supply and demand metric. We saw the listings fail. There was still buyer demand in the market, but there just wasn't enough homes for sale, which, you know, slowly increased the price over the year.
Yeah, and we talk about inventory often and what constitutes a buyer versus seller's market. Basically, for the whole year of 2023, we were in a seller's market based on the inventory of homes for sale. It never even went to a neutral market. So we are looking forward to seeing an uptick in listings in the new year.
Yeah, and if you look at the chart here, this is the months of inventory that Julie just alluded to. And this basically showed at the very, very end of 2022, we were in technically a neutral market because of the inventory, the number of homes that we had, or the lack thereof. It did fall, and we were basically in a seller's market for the entire course of 2023, which whenever you're in the seller's market, prices will tend to rise. So we have one more chart for you, and that's we're going to take a look at the days on market chart and how fast homes are selling for right now.
So now we're going to look at days on market, average days on market. What we have for you here on the screen is a chart displaying the average number of days that a house is on market. And in December of 2022, it was 49 days. We ended the year 2023 at 32 days. So that was a reduction of 34%, pretty significant from year end to year end. And David, why don't you tell us kind of what happened throughout the course of the year?
Yeah, and the days on market charts are a great data piece to follow. It kind of shows the strength of the market, the heat of the market, and even here in the winter months or the tail end of 2023, homes are selling a lot faster than they did in 2022. And it just falls back to that supply and demand kind of metric and things that we talk about. So now looking at the top red line that's going across the chart here, this is the list to sales price ratio on basically it gauges what percentage of the asking price sellers are getting for their home. And last month in December, which again is typically a weird real estate month sometimes, homes were selling for 98% of the asking price. So quite right around the previous month, which was at 99%. The month before that, 101%. So we're not seeing a huge amount of price reductions. We're not seeing homes being sold for way less than what they're being listed for. So it's a pretty healthy, strong market. If you're considering selling your home, there's still good signs that it's a good time to do so.
So that is a wrap on your 2023 overview of the housing market. We hope you found the information informative. We would love to hear what you think is going to happen in 2024. Please feel free to drop a comment below.
So if you found this information valuable, we'd really appreciate you guys hitting that like button right down below. And also, if you're not a subscriber to our channel here on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button to see all of our future videos. Lastly, if you have any questions about the real estate market, your home's value, or whatever it may be, we're happy to answer those and help you guys in any way possible. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.